Ekko VTF or D3, D2. Been a very long time since we've done a review last, so give me an update.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
So you plateaued, you're struggling, you're climbing, what's going on?
Well, it's a bit of both. So at the moment, I'm like hovering between Diamond 3 and Diamond 2.
Okay.
Like I peaked probably Diamond 2 like 90 plus LP, something like that. And now I'm like high D3 at the
Okay.
moment. I really don't know. Like I feel like I'm stuck and I have no idea. Like I feel like my view of the game is like so like weird. Like it's so like I'm so confused about so many aspects of the game.
Okay.
Like I have like I like I'm losing like so much like of the like I had a pretty clear view of the game. Like how I viewed the game. I had a pretty clear view of it and like pretty clear understanding of it. And like the more like I take like part in discussions in the MLA in general, I feel like I'm starting to like learn about more concept and it's starting to confuse me a bit, I think. Not in a I don't think it's in a bad way, but more like so many stuff that I thought like were like 100% true are like ending up being like completely like the other way.
Okay.
So like at the current moment, sorry for cutting you off. Like at the current moment, I'm focusing more on macro than on micro. Like I used to be a very heavy on micro, like on my
Okay.
mechanics. And I'm trying to switch it up and see how it goes. Like I'm trying to focus more on my macro
And what do you mean by
towards the end of
macro
the season.
specifically? Like you mean like what?
Well, mostly in reviews. So the way I did my reviews, at least in the last like 3 weeks or months or so, I used to like go into the review and only like check on skirmishes and see how I played it from a mechanic point of view, like to see how I fucked up mechanically. I did not like go over my decisions in the game at all. Like I was focusing solely on micro and how I could have played game better, from like 1v1s to like 1v2s, 1v3s, like skirmishes in general. Very micro heavy. Like I thought it was like the most important thing to me to look at. Like I thought and I still believe it's one of the things that are holding me back at the moment. So I focused heavily on that, but now I'm trying to like let it go a little and focus on that like less. And now when I go into a review, I try to see how like in positions where I could have made like when was in a position when I could have made a few decisions, like I had a few like decisions to choose from, and to see if that decision I chose is optimal and why I opted into that decision in the first place.
Okay.
Like why I thought that was the best decision at the moment and why I like went for it, and if
Okay.
it was good or bad.
So why this VOD in particular?
To be honest, it's also one issue. I think this SWAT I couldn't carry. Like I couldn't carry. I was in a position to carry, I think, and I couldn't. Like I just messed up. I was not able to do it. Like
Okay.
I kind of choked my like I kind of choked the game, I think.
Okay.
And I want to see like how I could have played better. Also, this is probably like recently also one problem I had. My games are very like stumpy. Like I either go 10-0 or 0-10, and this game was probably like decent. Like I
Whenever
don't think I played
I
horrible.
whenever I hear that, by the way, whenever I hear that, like I'm either 0-10 or 10-0, that says to me that you've got some fundamental issues. Whether it's understanding what makes a high percentage play, like not dying to ganks, or like you've got a problem with forcing plays, or whatever it might be. So we'll keep an eye on that. I just think you need to come to more reviews as well, man. I mean, given that you've been in the same rank for such a long time, it seems to me that you needed to come to
Actually, I
reviews.
did. I wasn't for a long time. I've been in Diamond for like a month. When I came into the MLA, I was plat.
Right.
So
So you actually weren't
actually,
plateaued. Your plateau's somewhat recent.
yeah, I'm plat out for like about a few weeks, something
Okay.
like that. But I feel like, well, I don't really want to waste your time because of my games are like what 10-0 or 0-10. Like, is there really like much to learn from them? Like from those games?
Yeah, because
It
if it's
just
happening a lot, it means that you can understand what's happening. That doesn't mean understand, why it's happening. It's very
okay.
hard to
But
understand.
I do want to try to get some more reviews. I do.
Yeah, what I've realized with a lot of clients is that they might understand what's happening, but they don't really understand why. Okay, so let's take
Oh,
a look at this one.
this tilted the fuck out of me. This tilted the fuck out of me. I was so tilted when that happened. I
What?
remember, like, I remember this moment. I was so mad when that happened.
Why were you so why were you
I
so
was
mad?
so upset because I was so annoyed that they died to Warwick because I felt like this game is not gonna be much harder because I felt like as an Ekko I had no real way to deal with Warwick. Like I felt like the like the thing I was more scared about in this game was the Warwick getting fed because I knew he could like run over Jax and I was so like when that happened I was like I just got tilted really fast. Like my mindset already was a bit like ruined I think at this point because I felt like my lane was going fine and this kind of like fucked up my plans.
I mean, someone else's mistake shouldn't tilt you. Sure, it can be frustrating, but it should never tilt you or make you that angry that you're gonna lose your fucking mind.
Yeah,
Um,
and you're right. I mean, I'm not saying it's good, right?
mm,
I'm just saying like
mm,
I remember like very strongly like that I felt
mm.
very emotional like at that point when that play happened.
So do you always go C-pot?
Yes, every game. Well, this is the first time I went electrocute actually. I've been testing it out to see because I actually go mostly first tech, but this game in particular I went electrocute because I had Jarvan, and Twisted Fate is a pretty easy lane.
Okay.
So so I went so I decided to go for the electrocute. I also don't think like the other start. I don't think Diving start is good. I don't think Diving on Echo in general is good, and
You don't like
I
Darkseal.
don't like. Yeah, I don't. Well, I used to go Darkseid, but after I played with, I don't think it's good because I usually buy Darkseid anyways. I don't think it's a good starting. Like I think it's really bad. I think Seaport is much better.
Okay. We get a nice little chunk there. TF is now having to go back to base again. Okay, so we've got ourselves into a pretty good position. We've chunked out this guy. We see, and we've still got 3 C-pot stacks. All right, let's go back here a little bit. What happens here? So we CS. This guy tries to escape down the river. TFR's out of base. I mean, to be honest, that's a pretty low value TFR, so that's fine. Even though Thresh dies, it's a support. It doesn't really change the bot lane. I think the bot lane is actually shoving out anyway. Not too bad. Okay. Or maybe the bot wave is frozen. Can't tell. Now, you didn't pan your camera top. Is that because you just didn't think there was any possibility of you killing Warwick?
Yeah, I just didn't want. I just didn't want to go there. To be honest, I just thought that we have no shot of 1v2ing him.
And here in this
I,
situation, I'm assuming you didn't see the Jarvan.
well, no, I wasn't actually paying attention to the Jarvan.
Okay. Yeah, so a bit of a blunder there from you, unfortunately. But Jarvan does get the
I mean,
kill.
yeah, I should have moved, but I didn't get it. I mean, I did notice that like I did notice him like late, but I didn't move like not because I didn't see him like in the middle of the fight. I didn't move because I knew he was gonna win because TF had no flash, and I assumed like no shot is going to lose this. Like he was like level 5 or something, and TF had no items.
Okay,
That
so
play I was really not a fan of. I really didn't want this play. Because Warwick was moving. Yeah, man, I really... this play was... I'm not a fan of this play. Like, we saw Warwick moving and Jax could have not moved. I just tried to, like... It was really hard compensation play for me on the TF. Like, I felt so terrible that Warwick is gonna get another kill.
okay, so here in
Because he
this,
was
this is
already
a
so
yeah.
ahead.
So okay, so let's talk about the ACE. Let's use the ACE acronym in this situation. Right now, we know that we really don't want this play. We want to reset, want to go back, get our alternator, whatever. We don't want this play. We've got very limited resources, no C-pots. So
Yeah,
in
but
our
no
mind,
mana as well, yeah.
yeah, no matter as well, we're in a really bad spot. So from our perspective, right? What we want, the best players, we want to reset. So we want to ideally communicate that. We want to communicate that, and you do. So I think you're in a situation, you end up pinging in a second, like kind of back, danger, danger, danger. You're starting your recall, but he went in anyway. So, right, you did this. You know you need to reset. You communicate it, tick, tick. Maybe you could have also communicated in advance, maybe a little bit more because he's already walking. But I think it was happening so fast that you probably wouldn't have changed anything anyway. So then these two are pretty good. Then it leads us with E, right? Embracing reality. Now, I actually, here in this situation, don't mind canceling your recall just a little bit, just to see what's up, right? Because you've got to embrace reality. Solo queue is very chaotic. You do that. Now, we know that Warwick is moving from topside, right? So you know that. So in this situation, we know that you're never going to win that 2v2. You don't have anything to offer. So you can hover, but you need to protect yourself at all times. Right? Protect yourself at all times. As soon as that happens, insta disengage. Insta reset.
Yeah, I E over the wall and just reset, yeah.
Yep, E over the wall reset.
I just felt so like I remember I felt like I thought like fuck, Warg is getting another kill, he's gonna like be in a very strong position in top now, like maybe I can get the TF and snowball somehow, and yeah, just happened very quickly, and I was like I wanted to compensate somehow for this play.
Yeah, so this is compensation.
Like looking back, it would have been actually not that bad because Jax had the wave in a pretty decent state.
It doesn't even matter. Like, don't even try to calculate the worth or non-worth of the play. It's just protect yourself at all times.
Okay.
Right? Like,
yeah,
whether Jax's wave is shit, bad, good, ugly, whether yours is... nothing matters. Well, all that matters is... League is a game where you just got to make the best decision you possibly can in every given situation. Right? You know, whatever's happened at minute 2, minute 3, minute 4, I mean, that just creates a new game state. You just got to adapt to the new game state. And you can't live in the past. Like, sure, it's a bit shitty that Warwick's fed, but you can't let that, like, dictate... You can't let that anger and frustration dictate your behavior and your decision making. That is a really, really bad play because this is throwing your carry opportunity out the window.
Yes.
So now you fucked your tempo. Really bad death. Yeah. Okay, so moving on here. Game is very hard. Bot lane died.
I personally didn't think it was winnable at this point because I didn't have first strike as well. I thought like I didn't think we could outscale them. I don't think we have better scaling than them, to be honest.
Okay. We get a nice little pick here. Yeah, we'll go a little bit further, but chances are, I mean, there's always a chance that someone fucks up and they start to give shutdowns.
Well, that like I managed to get like a couple of kills here and there, like this.
Beautiful.
And
we even get rift. We can even break mid here, which is great. Really good. Even TF looks like TF wastes R as well. Amazing. Look at that. Huge. Should be able to survive here. Massive.
I'd die here then. I think if I W, maybe like.
Yeah, maybe if you sit on it, maybe if you try to W here, but it's
yeah, W like near the turret, like where you went. Yeah, maybe. It was a really hard decision.
Yeah, hard to say. You end up getting the kill anyway. So honestly, that's a pretty good outcome. I mean, look, personally, I don't know about going for the kill here on the TF. I think it's a little bit rough, but ultimately, this is not a bad scenario. I mean, you buy time for Jax, you get the Warwick ult, you trade 1 for 1, you basically get mid tower, you kill the TF twice, you waste TFR. I mean, you're in a really good spot. We've got Rockabell and we've got Sorks.
Yeah, here again I got like slightly annoyed at display when I saw it.
Okay,
To play bot lane where I didn't get him.
so we see bot lane struggling. Jax might be able to salvage top side eventually later on. Okay.
Yeah, Jax was actually doing like pretty decently now. He had a pretty good wave state I saw, and TF was moving there as well. So I thought now I was like I was kind of I wanted to get the turret first to get like the first gold turret and like the plate before 14, and then I was thinking about like moving around the map. Like I wanted to stop like staying mid.
I swear you just keep playing mid to top here and try and get this Jax relevant. If Jax can get fed this game, I think you guys can... That's your best chance of winning. If Jax can beat Warwick in the side, you have a chance of winning. Nice. Nice little roam. Now, this is very, very important. You need to tell your team to give Dragon. There's no way in a trillion years you guys are contesting that Dragon. As soon as...
Why not? They got Pike. They got Pike. Can they contest that when I'm like, and I move? They can't?
You're topside, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I am... Oh wait, no, they start contesting. I thought they started contesting a bit later on. Yeah, never mind.
So...
Yeah, they're 3v4, they're 3v4. Yeah, never mind.
It's a 3v3 at minimum, right? Because TF can move Viego and AD carry. It's a 3v3.
Oh right, 3v3, never mind. Yeah,
right?
3v3, yeah.
So if you're going topside, you need to
we have to sack
back.
the Drake. We have to sack the Drake.
So this is just this, and so this is on you, right? If you see them kill Pike and you see them going towards a dragon, you've got to make your mind up. What's more important, getting a top kill or getting dragon? Well, it's a tough one because dragons are good for stalling out the game, especially if the enemy is stacking dragons, right? So this is one of those macro decisions that you need to keep in mind. You either need to go top and ping back on the dragon, or you need to go bot and say no to this play. Not an easy call to make. But I think either could work, but you got to be decisive in which one it is. This is worst case scenario, and now you make two plays at once. You make for the top play, and they contest the dragon at the same time. That's on you. You are the carry this game. You didn't say no.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, you're right. I should have pinged that. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
It's a terrible W.
Oh, that W was shit.
W over
I should have. Or W preemptively before I over the wall. But yeah, it's a shit W.
Okay. Should have been a kill. Sitting on a lot of gold here. Okay, I guess we can defend bot. Alright. Okay, we're massively behind tempo here.
Well, there are no objectives though, is it? Like I thought it was fine because I wanted. I really wanted to get my M tomb and not M tomb. Oh, it is blasting one, then the other one, the Requiem, like to get to buy them both for the Nashers. Although Nashers is bad with Electrocute, I think. Still think it's better this game though than Leechbane.
Okay, so... Alright.
Yeah, I'm staying on a lot of gold now though.
Yeah, this is a lot of gold. I mean, the only reason I don't like staying on this amount of gold versus TF specifically is that when TF makes a play, you can't really punish it to the maximum ability. And now we're at some of these fights here with 2200 gold, which is not really optimal. I mean, if you could have an entire blast, an entire needlessly large rod or whatever it is you want to buy on top of this. So, yeah, so I think if it were me personally, I think I would have reset way earlier. I think I probably would have even reset maybe after this wave, or I would have reset after this wave. Yeah, I think I would have reset right here. Just given the little bit of farm mid, that I don't think that mid wave's even going to crash. So yeah, you would have had ample time to reset right now. You wouldn't even have missed much farm anyway. So
I just really greeded for the like I wanted a certain spike and I really greeded for it in the end. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right though. It like I would have got like I probably would have like came to this play with a bunch of gold.
Also, your W usage in this situation wasn't really that good.
Yeah, I kind of like use it like automatically. I didn't think about it much.
But we do get a 400 gold shutdown. So even if we trade 1 for 1, that's completely fine.
Yeah, I got a big spike of this reset.
Holy moly. There's a lot of gold. Okay. So we'll go a little bit further. We'll see what you can do with this. I still think Jax is your best bet from a carry perspective. I think you could have just went back to your tower there onto your W.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Maybe. It's hard to say.
Again, that's why I was so annoyed when Warrior got fed. I hate this champ so much.
Okay.
Yeah, also I got tilted and pressed yes. I think the game was somewhat winnable. Hard as fuck, but
It's hard, but I
maybe
mean,
somewhat winnable.
if you're an Ekko who's relatively fed, I don't think you should be FFing games like this. I've seen some pretty ridiculous Ekko wins where like Ekko...
I think it was just, well, to be honest, after I pressed yes, I was like, okay, well, it is kind of winnable, but I think I was pretty tilted from the fact that Warwick died me, and I kind of said automatically yes.
Yeah, and the biggest
not
problem
good,
right
but
now, the biggest problem right now, I mean, obviously there's obviously mistakes that you're making, but the biggest problem right now is your mental. You're getting so affected by other people's mistakes that it's impacting your decision making, and it's impacting the quality of your play. You're so concerned about other people, and you're so concerned about, I'm annoyed about this, I'm annoyed about, like, it sounds like you're just permanently annoyed at everything, right? I mean, welcome to League of Legends, you know. These are the sorts of mistakes that you need to be big on, you know. We're bot side by ourselves with absolutely no vision in the river. Dragon's about to come up, a dragon that you guys cannot contest. It's a cloud soul that you should be giving. I wouldn't even be bot side in this situation. I don't even know why you're bot. I'd be actually, to be honest, what I'd actually probably be doing here is I'd actually be going top straight out of base, because they're not going to continue that siege anyway. Let Astro
get
bot.
the turret.
Yeah, and you start going top, and you trade this dragon that's coming up in a minute off for topside and maybe 2 towers topside. That would be ideal. They're massively behind tempo as well. So I think this is more so of a problem of you're not really thinking about the next objective. Obviously, they're all going to be on the bot side here playing for the next objective. You're versing a TF and a Warwick, and we just die randomly. Okay.
Curtis.
Yo.
I feel like this is what I mean. What I meant when I said like bad quality mistakes. I feel like a lot of Marvin's problems come from he can't learn because he's getting tilted, and you can't learn from this mistake because it's not like a macro call he's making. He's just not assessing the game state because he is tilted.
He's too tilted to assess the game state properly. Yeah.
And so how do you review this?
Like, it's so difficult. Yeah.
There's no learning here.
Even the play, you know, the play where he roamed topside to kill the Warwick and then they lost Dragon or whatever. Like that play, that's really amazing learning on paper, but that learning would never happen in a million years if he doesn't come to the session.
Yeah.
Because he's so tilted, he's not gonna objectively look at all these decisions. Yeah, and this is the thing. I think regardless, sure, there's macro decisions. You know, there's macro that can be worked on. Sure, there's things that can be worked on, W usage and situations, etc. The biggest fundamental problem is your mental and your relationship with the game. And it actually, for me, the red flags were already starting when I heard you say, I was so tilted when they died topside double kill. You know, the way my expectation when I load into a game, right? My baseline expectation is that the game is going to be hard as fuck, and there are going to be many, many, many things that happen in the game that are going to be unfavorable for me. That's my baseline assumption. Anything that goes well is just, it's a bonus. Most of the time, I would say things are just going to be unfavorable situation after unfavorable situation. Otherwise, the game would be fucking boring anyway. Imagine if every game was just a perfect Ekko game where no one makes any mistakes in sides. Your sides are always winning. You can just shove and roam every time. It'd just be the shittest game in the world. So I think that one thing I'd really want you to think about right now is you're directing too much energy to other people's mistakes. You're not emphasizing the quality of your own decision making. And I don't think you've got that really kind of fun / curious mindset that we've been really talking about over the past month, which is exactly how optimal League of Legends is played.
I think you're right. I think it's probably like a mix of. We're nearing the end of the season, and I was really like, my goal for this season was to get Diamond. To be honest, like I didn't think I would get Diamond, and now that I got it, I'm aiming for Masters, and I probably won't get it by the end of the season, and it's really like, it's probably really taking a toll on my mental, and games starting to feel more like I'm starting to get a bit more desperate for wins.
Yeah.
And like also it mixes that for like I'm at a elo I consider high for myself. Like Diamond is fucking high for me. Like I never expected to get this high. Like D2 is like pretty high, and I also like sometimes I expect from the players like a high level of play as well.
That's what I was going to say. Your expectations. That's the fundamental problem with this entire thing. You've got expectations. There cannot ever be expectations placed on anyone else but yourself. And actually not even really on yourself. The only thing you can expect from yourself is that you're going to give max effort. And you're going to try your best. That's it. We can't even have expectations about the way the Ekko game is going to pan out. We have no idea. We have no idea how chaotic it's going to be, how fast or slow it's going to be, how fast you're going to be able to get your rocket belt. We have no fucking clue. And at the end of the day, man, you know, this is what every client says to me. And I said this in the interview with Necklace, is that I get a platinum client. No, I'll get a gold client. And then they get to plat for the first time. And like, oh, I thought platinum players were so much better. And then a plat client gets to diamond 4. Ah, shit, I thought diamond 4 players were so much better. A diamond 1 player gets master tier. Oh, I thought master tier players were so much better. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. But this entire thought process is just... It's just a waste of time. All you got to do is bring everything back to the quality of your own decisions. And right now, right, and the way I would view it if I were you, is that I go into a game not knowing what's going to happen, how it's going to pan out, nothing. All I can control is my own decision making and how intense or how focused I am. There are going to be many situations that are very confusing. There are going to be some tough situations. There are going to be some unique game states. Every game is simply another puzzle for me to put my brain towards and figure it out. So then I'm excited to dive into another game so I can learn and put myself in some other unique situations. Now, if I'm dealt a hand, like in poker, a shitty hand, it doesn't mean I can throw. It doesn't mean I have to throw in the towel and play the next hand. I can bluff with it. I can do whatever. So, League is very much like poker, where it's about you trying to maximize how much learning you get from every single hand. Sometimes you're going to get 2 losing sides, like this game. Sometimes you're going to get 2 winning sides. Sometimes you're going to have 2 losing sides, but a carry jungler that's fed as fuck. We don't know what we're going to have. So, our mindset needs to be, okay, right, whatever you throw at me, whatever it is, no matter how hard it is, no matter how easy it is, I'm ready. I'm present in the moment. I'm grateful to be able to play the game. I'm having fun, and I'm going to do what I can. Then, what happens? Well, because you had no expectations about what was going to happen, because you had no expectations about how anyone else was going to play, how good or bad they were, then what can we do? That means when we get into the review and we look at these situations where, you know, Jarvan goes to the invade, and then you know, we can look at how aggressive, how you could have walked that tightrope, helping the Jarvan / protecting yourself at all times. Looking at those situations where you went for a roam topside, but understanding what you sacrifice on the other side of the map. Understanding how you can maximize your pressure on the map and trading objectives for gold. You know, all of these things you can just get into with an open mind and be like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. Whether or not those decisions would have actually won you this game, that doesn't matter. What matters is in the long run, you're increasing the quality of your decision making so that you win the majority of games over a long period of time. Because, you know what, man? You might have actually played this game. Let's say hypothetically we played it perfectly. Let's say hypothetically we didn't die and compensate for their Jarvan. We actually went top, pinged off drag, and they gave drag. You gave that next drag and went topside and didn't die bot. And maybe you reset a bit earlier and had more gold for that, and so on and so forth. Let's say you made every major decision perfectly and you executed perfectly. That doesn't automatically mean that you win. You can still lose. But what does that mean? That means in the long run, through good quality decision making, you will climb. And that's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the quality of the decision making. Period. Does this all make sense?
Yeah, it does. It just like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, especially because, well, I never really like thought about like my like where well when I like look at the play, I don't like necessarily think about why I went for that. Like I don't necessarily think about like what was behind the decision for that play. I just usually think either it's a good play or a bad play.
Right.
And I never really dive deep into the decisions behind that play. And now, like after that review, I noticed that a lot of my decisions are very emotional. Like they go based
Yeah.
of an emotion. I don't really think much about like the consequences of that decision. Like I go what like, well, I go basically with my first decision that it like is emotional. Like if I'm annoyed with something, I'm probably like let's say I'm annoyed with the fact that Warwick is fed. I'm probably like gonna like ignore him, try to ignore him, like and try to like make plays somewhere else, even if it's not the optimal decision, like per se. And yeah, I think I definitely gotta work more on my mental. Like I gotta have like a more like pre-approach the game and not have as much expectation as I do, because I do a lot of the time approach the game with like a baseline expectation of how it should go and how like my teammates should play. When it's wrong, like I should not expect anything from my teammates.
Yeah.
And it really like I feel like it really like also influences my decision a lot. Like I make a decision on the assumption that my teammates will like do A or B when I shouldn't like have
No,
that expectation.
not at all. And so last thing I will say, and this is why I made that video recently about, like I made this article about free flow. You know, the mindset that I've been having in adopting a solo queue is that I'm just an artist. I'm just an artist going in, expressing my best self, right? I view every game as a canvas, blank canvas, and I'm just expressing what Curtis's, say I'm playing Galio, Curtis Galio looks like in this game, in this moment in time with my current skill set. Whatever happens,
Damn,
happens.
that's actually a very cool mindset. I like that.
And
That
so,
sounds very cool, actually.
and then at the end of the game, I could look at my canvas, look at what I've produced, and I can be like, oh, okay, that maybe that was need to be worked on. I can tighten up those edges there. I can do this and this, and that's it. And you know, I'm just there to express my best self. I'm just there to express who I am, and I love that. It gets me excited because no one in the world will play Ekko exactly like Marvin's in this game. No one. You've got your own personal signature on the Rift. No one will
That's
play
such a
this
cool
game.
way to look at it,
And no one
actually.
will ever play this game again. No one will
Damn, I
ever play
really
this game
like this
again.
approach. I will try to adopt this approach. That sounds actually hella cool. I like it a lot, this approach.
And then shit gets exciting because it's like, well, yeah, great. I mean, that's just me. That's just who I am, and whatever happens. You can't do more than what you're capable of at that period of time. You can only ever do what you're currently capable of, and that's okay. And then you slowly improve upon that. So yeah, have a go at that. I actually made an article talking about that in the psychology
I will
section.
give it a read. I will give it a read.
I think it's a
Definitely.
video, but yeah.
Or give it a watch, yeah.
Reflect on this and then let me know how it goes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.